Alright, so we're here to take another look at the DigiTech RP200, and today specifically we're going to be looking at some of the different effects within it. And in this version, the effects are listed over here to the sides. We're going to cover chorus, flanger, phaser, tremolo, panner, vibrato, rotary, YaYa, AutoYa, synth talk, envelope, detune, pitch, and whammy. So let's go ahead and get to it here. So I've got this wired up differently than I had in some of my previous videos. I'm using my LTD to plug directly into the simplifier, and then I'm using the effect send to go to the input of the RP200, and then I'm using this Y splitter to allow me to return in stereo into the simplifier, and then you're hearing stereo as well. So that's my signal right now. Now the simplifier is analog and this DigiTech is obviously digital. So let's start maybe just by doing this. Here's the sound that I'm getting with it plugged in. Now if I unplug the returns, that it doesn't really matter that the send is plugged in, it's as long as the returns are not plugged in. So that is more like my dry signal that I have, and once I plug these in, ultimately the sound is the same, but it does feel like maybe not as wide dynamically. It is still getting some level of digital processing, it sounds like, but I don't think it's like really adding a lot of latency or anything that we need to worry about. So let's go ahead and try these. So to get to these, you see we have this matrix here, and you're going to turn this knob to get the different effect type. The middle knob is going to control the amount, and then the right knob is going to control the effect level. So starting with chorus, because that's nothing, and that's the chorus, so pretty cool. Let me do this real quick. I'm going to set my master volume a little bit lower, I think. You can push it, pull it back there. Let's set it about right there. Alright, now back to the effects. So that's our chorus. You see it gets a lot faster, more aggressive, the higher the amount is. You can set it pretty low, and it still gets some effects. And just to point out, since I am using this in stereo, you can still absolutely listen to this on your cell phone, but for the full effect, I would recommend either stereo speakers or headphones to hear this. And then the level isn't controlling like the volume, it's controlling the level of the effect. So you could have it like maxed out on the amount, but have the level kind of low, and it's not that aggressive. Or you could have the level all the way up and the amount kind of lower, and then it's still present, but it's not like in your face. Alright, so you only have those two parameters that you can control for most of these. Let's go ahead and do the next one, which is going to be the flanger. That's a good flanger. Maybe not top of the line studio quality, but especially with the stereo going on, sounds pretty good. So the amount, turn way down, you can still hear it's there. Especially with the level all the way up. You can kind of hear it slowly going back and forth. So let's do the amount all the way up, the level about halfway down. There we go. It's pretty cool. Alright. So that's a good flanger. Let's move on to phaser. All these would kind of be in the same category with each other, although they do sound pretty different. So the amount all the way up, amount all the way down, level all the way up, level and amount. Alright. And I should point out too that I'm using the Marshall settings I typically do on this. Let's see, not got a lot of gain going on or anything. A little bit. And then the 412 speakers and greenbacks. And also the reason I'm using the effects chain in this order, where I'm plugging directly into the simplifier and then running into the RP200, is because that's similar to how they have it set up in this unit, where you have the pickup stuff and compressor. You know, they're really trying to follow like the standard effects chain that you would have. So then you have amp models and equalizer, which really kind of takes the place of drive pedals. I kind of realized. And then you have the cabinet and mic gate. Then you have the effects, delay, and reverb, and then expression controls and stuff. If it was me and I was designing this nowadays, I get what they're doing, putting the effects after the amp models and things, but I would probably try to put them before the cabinet right there, you know, so you could have the effects and maybe even the delay coming before the cabinet and the reverb still after the cabinet. But I know this is an old piece of gear, so it's, you know, they're not going to update it or anything like that. But that's part of the reason I'm using it in this order here. So let's get back to these. So we checked out the phaser. Let's go to the tremolo. Much more of a cut in the sound when it's active. So the amount controls the speed. Level obviously controls the amount there, so when it's all the way up, it's cutting all the way out. But if you set it lower, still kind of get that shaky sound, but it's not like it's going completely away, like it is with that. It would be nice if there was a way to measure the milliseconds, or have some kind of a tap tempo way to control this, but it's still useful if you're just using one setting there. So let's go ahead, and also too, you cannot stack these effects. You are only able to use one at a time. Let's see, so that was the tremolo. Here's the panner, and this one is really great with the stereo. I had actually never used it like this until I was testing out stuff for this video. The level, kind of like how extreme, and then the amount is the speed. Yeah, even looking at the audio signal that I'm seeing here, like you can really see what it's actually doing to the signal. Give a little bit more volume. With the amount this low, you really can't hear it that much, but you get up around 40, start to hear it. That's really kicking up there. Cool. I mean, I could just play with that one. That one's pretty fun. So that's the Rotary, I believe. Yeah, we did the tremolo. No, that was the panner. Vibrato. Here we go. So this one's got some kind of modulation to it, it feels like. Interesting. Yeah, so this one, instead of like dropping out in volume and chopping it, it's more like got that Detune effect going on. With the amount low, it kind of sounds like a chorus. All the way up. Yeah. Probably not my favorite of those. A little too extreme. And then you got the Rotary. It's another good stereo one. Let's turn the amount it down. See, I feel like this one's still got more motion to it when it's down low than the panning effect did. And still, it's not as choppy as the tremolo was. It just feels like it's got kind of like a cool pulse. Carried away and just started playing on that. Alright, so that was the Rotary. The next one is going to be kind of interesting. YaYa. There we go. So it's kind of like a... It's almost kind of like a filter, although we do have a filter we're still going to get to. Of course, you have the amount. So it's like if it's all the way down, that's going to be like your dry signal, or the signal you're feeding in, and then the more you turn it up, it gets to just the YaYa sound. And then you use the amount knob to kind of dial in where you want it. And I suppose this is a good place to show. So the expression knob down here, I can switch down to the parameter. It's not assigned to anything right now, but I can set it to the YaYa. Let's see if the effect is off. So it does actually have to be on that. It's not changing that. But you could use this to kind of help control some of that sound if you're wanting to use this anyway. Let's turn the expression back off. Go back to the effects. We were on the YaYa. The AutoYa. They were like, let's take this effect that is kind of original and unique and show you how it can be nearly useless. Because that's like the max. That's the low end. And you can just kind of dial out the level of effect. Maybe the extra parameters that you get in the RP200 make it more usable. But that's probably the best one, or the worst of these effects, in my opinion. They probably should have just left that one out. Synth talk. So you can control the sensitivity on this one. That's what it's controlling now, is not the amount of the sound, but the sensitivity. Before it gets like all weird like that. That is kind of weird. Okay, and you have different voice options too. So you have like voice 1. So even setting the expression to control the amount is not going to be that great in this case. And I guess it's kind of a cool lo-fi. You know, these are probably arguably some of the worst sounding options that you have with it, but do they have like a usable charm to them is I think maybe the real question, if you can find a use for the synth talk. So let's go on to the filter. So envelope filters is kind of funny. So again, this is the amount of level. If it's at 99, you're cutting out the dry signal. And then you, of course, got the amount of envelope. Yeah, you kind of want some raw signal in there at least. Maybe not the most tweakable, and I know you can assign some of the parameters to the expression pedal there, but yeah, I don't know. Envelope, it's a cool, fun effect, but it's not been anything I've ever been able to find a good use for. So next, the last couple ones are going to be fun. So we have the Detune, which this can set the amount of detune. Now it says you can go minus 24 or plus 24, and of course you have the amount. But that's obviously not steps or half steps. I don't know if it's semitones or hertz or how they decide to measure this. But it definitely has like a chorusy kind of feel to it. Chorus and almost like that vibrato where it was kind of like just shaky on the tone a little bit. And detune is one of the features that you have in the Whammy pedals, most of them. So you have the shallow and deep version. So maybe that's the shallow, maybe that's the deep. And you do have some tweakability to it on here, which you do not have on the Whammy itself. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the next one, which is the pitch. Okay, so again, we have where you have 0 and 0. Looks like it's offset just a little bit. So you can go down. That's part of it. Okay, so you can drop down minus 12, which that is going to be half steps. So that's like my pitch is an octave. So I have the original note, and then I have the lower note behind it too. I could drop this down to, I don't want like a 7th or something. Let's make it a 5th. Or maybe a 4th. 4th actually needs to be 5. Or you could set it 5th above. It doesn't seem like the expression pedal is doing that much. I could assign the expression pedal to the amount, but then it's almost going to be like, okay, you're an octave down or you're an octave 2 octaves up when you're all the way there, and then somewhere in the middle would be the regular thing. So probably not the best use of that, even though it could technically do it. So that would be... And even with 100%, it's still not dropping my dry signal out like you would expect for like a Rage Against the Machine type of feel or something, or a Pantera type thing. You don't typically have the raw signal mixed in there with it. Which leads us to the last one, the Whammy. And this was really the main reason that I wanted to make this anyway, because I've never really been very happy with my Whammy pedal, and I really feel like that what you get in this is really just as good or not better. Now you don't have the same way to toggle through the effects, and where the Whammy the MIDI control or anything like that, or the wet dry outs, but like this is really not a bad way to go. So it's kind of weird the way they lay out the order of the presets though. So you have the 1 octave up, which would be interesting. Okay, so check this out. Because I don't have the expression assigned to anything right now, it's not doing anything. It's just giving me a 1 octave up sound. So I need to go to the expression and set the assignment to the Whammy right there. And that should do it. There we go. That was good enough. Back to the effects. So all the way back is nothing. When it's all the way up, it cuts out the dry signal. That's what's going on there. I'm going to try giving it a little bit more volume on this. Not too much more. Make it kind of scream a little bit for us. Okay, so that's the 1 octave up. You turn this, take it to 2 octaves up. Okay, so that's the 2 octave up. Let's see, then we have the 2nd down. That's a horrible. And I guess it can be like a detune sort of thing, but I don't like it. Then it's kind of like the same thing, but inverted. They only did it on that one. 4th down, 1 octave down. That one's kind of fun. 1 octave down, 2 octaves down. Alright, 2 octaves down. Dive bomb, that's 3 octaves down. Kind of lets you... There's some cool stuff you can do with it. It's not going to give you like a real intelligent note or anything by hitting that dive bomb there, but let's go on. Minor 3rd down, major 3rd up. So that's kind of handy if you're doing a scale and say I'm wanting to do let's do major. So I'm going to go. And then I go to the next note and I need to go minor. So that one's cool, you just have to know what you're doing for it. 2nd, major 3rds, 3rds, and 4th, that's clearly a major 3rd. Yeah, and 4th and 5th, 5th and octave. I don't know what that is. Oh, it's an octave up, but you still have the dry signal in there too. That's how they did it. And then dry signal, but you still have an octave down with it. I guess that's the last one. Okay, so that covers a lot on this thing. It doesn't cover everything. That was really just all the effects. Kind of run through real quick with just the 2 parameters that we have, but I didn't touch on the delays, the reverbs. I did a little bit of expression, but as you can see, we still have some things to cover with this pedal here. So I hope that this has been fun, and you know that you're either impressed or your criticisms of the pedal have been confirmed by watching this. You know, it's not perfect or anything, but for the price that you can pick these things up and some of the things that it can do and the prices people will pay for those same things, like especially the whammy settings on here, it's really something to try considering. Anyway, let's go ahead and wrap it for today, and I appreciate everyone for watching up to this point, and I will be making some more videos again soon. Thanks.